What's up, guys? Welcome to Nene's channel. I know I talk a lot about MMA and my struggles and the challenges. This is all for my mental health and, expressing what I go through. And yeah, I go through a lot of hard things, but I do it because this is the reality. A lot of things are hard. I get a lot of challenges in MMA. I go through a lot of challenges in life, and so I trying to find ways to find clarity in my mind, and then I like to share it with you because it might help somebody. And if it does, cool. If it doesn't, it's okay. But I've gone over my videos and I was just like, you know what? There is a similarity. I do go through a lot of struggles. I do go through a lot of hard training sessions. But then in reality, there has been a lot of times where I have one of my best training sessions. Like, yeah, I go through a lot of shitty training sessions, but then the great training sessions are the ones that I want to talk about. The first one that I think of from the top of my head is when I was like 18, 19 years old, and I had recently graduated high school, and I was starting college, and I think I was 2 years in college or something, and no, I must have been like 19 or 20. Either way, it's around that time. And I was working at a job that was not good for my mental health, like people partying, no goals, and my surroundings were about drama and no goals and just half-assing stuff and not really having any sort of ambition. And so I was surrounded by that environment, and on top of that, I had a really crazy relationship full of drama, chaos, and so I had to quit that job, and then I was jobless for like a good 8 or 9 months, I think. At that time, I believe my mom had cancer and she was going through that treatment. So at home, I was really going through it. At the same time in my life, I attached my identity to my job, which made it hard for me to feel like I was actually doing something good with my life. Even though that was the best choice at the time, it didn't feel like it. So I had no job. I wasn't even going to school. I think I had graduated or not, had started school, either way. But I was feeling really shitty. It was really bad, like to the point that I would cry like almost every day because I was so miserable. And then I went to the gym and I got my butt whooped. And I got my butt beat up, and it really sucked. But I do consider those to be my best training sessions, because at the times where I was at my lowest, the times where I felt like I couldn't do anything with my life, that I didn't have an out, I didn't have anything in my mind, I felt really bad. I felt really low. I felt like I had no one to trust. I just didn't feel like I have the support system, or I didn't feel like I was gonna be strong enough to handle anything in my life. So I went to the gym and I pushed through it. The times that I pushed through them, those are the best times, because those are the times that you pull yourself out of that hole and you don't listen to your mind. Because your mind plays games with you, it lies to you. And so when I was mentally weak, I went to the gym and I was still disciplined. And at the time, I didn't feel like it was a good thing, but it is a good thing. It teaches you how to be mentally stronger. Fast forward, after the first time I ruptured my Achilles, and I didn't want to get out of the house for like a week because I felt embarrassed and I didn't want to see anybody. I felt like shit. And I still went to the gym after a week because Carla and Taz pulled me out to the side and they're like, you know what, you can't stay in this house being depressed every day. And I went to the gym. I didn't want to see anybody because I was embarrassed. And then Taz made me put on the gloves and he made me punch. He made me punch the pads, and he held pads for me. And I was sitting on a beach ball, not wanting to punch anything because I felt limitless. I was like, you know what, I can't even move my foot, so why even try it, right? And so those times were the good times and the best times to train because I didn't want to be there. But I was showing myself that I could be disciplined, that I could be a better person despite that injury. And then moving forward after that, I think of the time where I was going to train for my black belt. My calf still wasn't there. My calf was still weak. And I remember telling Taz that I wanted to train for that black belt and I wanted to get my black belt. And it's like, okay, so I recovered from the Achilles injury. My foot wasn't still fully 100%, but I had to make it work no matter what. And so we started training on Sundays and sparring with the kicks, the push-ups. I started training for it on Sundays, every freaking Sunday for like a year. We were training. He was taking that time out of his weekend to train me, and I thank him for that. I thank my coaches all the time for being so freaking supportive, even on the times that I didn't want to be there or be myself. I did it. And so those were my best training sessions. I didn't like myself at the time. I felt heavier. I felt physically uglier. I felt mentally weaker. I felt physically weaker, and I didn't feel like I had that emotional resilience. So I was feeling pretty low. And so yes, my life has been of traumas and low moments, but I've had the support, I've had the privilege and the honor to have people in my life that believe in me and that support me and that don't let me be miserable. And that don't let me be miserable and weak, and don't let me stay there in that hole that I feel like I'm stuck in. If I'm in that freaking puddle of shit, they literally pull me out of that puddle of shit and splash some bucket of water and just clean me up and say, let's go. Let's get to it. Let's keep moving forward. Let's not stay there. Clean yourself up and let's go. And so those were my best training sessions. And then moving forward, look at that. Even after the black belt, throughout the black belt was the shittiest. It wasn't the shittiest, I'm not gonna lie. Like even throughout the black belt, it was tough. And then now, continuing to train after my black belt, it's been 2 years, so now I'm gonna make, literally this year is gonna be my 8th year in MMA. I have a lot of good training sessions, as well as really shitty training sessions, but the ones that make it worth it are the ones that I never quit, the ones that I didn't listen to my negative thoughts, the ones that I thought I couldn't do it, and the ones that really just, I felt like life was just all against me and all the people were against me. Those were the days that I didn't listen to that part of my brain that said you can't do it, and I did it. And I would go to the gym, and no matter how hard it was, I pushed through it. Those were my best training sessions. So maybe it's just me, but this is how I see it. And no matter if anybody agrees with me or not, I find myself being more grateful for my body, for my peers, for my family, for my health. And it's because of this, because of all of this best training sessions that I have that don't let me quit. If I didn't quit then, I cannot quit now. So you're more than welcome to share your best training sessions in the comments. And if you want to find more behind the scenes content, you can go to patreon.com/NayNayMMA. All right.